What's up, guys? 0-2 yesterday. Back in the red on the year. Obviously not where I want to be. Congratulations to my Boston Celtics who have advanced to the NBA Finals. How long will they be waiting to see who their opponent is? Talk about that in a minute. The Celtics, they again just, I think, got too complacent and didn't really put their foot on the accelerator knowing that Halliburton was out and knowing we're probably we're going to win the series regardless. I think they were just in that type of mindset again last night. Unfortunately, I thought that after doing so in the previous game, they would step it up and play better. That didn't really happen. Game really close. They ended up winning the game and in a pretty exciting finish to advance. And then the Phillies-Giants game, I mean, what can you say about that? I think Taijuan Walker outpitched Blake Snell, man. I mean, Snell was bad again. He only went 4 innings into the game. Walker went 6, I think. So even though he gave up, I think 5 runs, he gave up one unearned run somewhere. Maybe it was 5 earned runs. I don't know what it is. But either way, I think there are many arguments to be made that he outpitched Snell, and the Phillies still wound up losing the game. It's very unfortunate. We'll move on to today where I only have one play on the board right now, which feels like maybe I'm being too selective. I don't know, but maybe it's good. Hopefully it doesn't go 0-1. NHL is in action, of course, as usual. New York Rangers are at Florida. The Rangers have won 2 games in a row, winning the previous game in a high-scoring game at Florida. Florida is now up from -165 to -171 in this one at Florida, now down 2 games to 1. 76% of the tickets on Florida, so Florida attracting some of the public action now, but 83% of the tickets, or 83% of the cash, on Florida. So Florida, they are public, but they're getting more of the cash discrepancy on them. I agree with the Florida side in this one. I agree with the cash discrepancy, the market indicators here in this one, but it is a pretty hefty price to be laying here, so I don't exactly want to do it. You can lay the -1.5 on the puck line if you really want to and get like +150 probably or something in that range on that. If you want to make like a cheaper bet on it, find a cheaper way to play it. But I do lean to the Florida side in this. Florida, after losing that game at home, they are the team that has the adjustments to make. And I think as the odds makers are telling you, they're actually the better of these two teams. So I expect them to bounce back and win this game, even though I don't really want to see that happen. Being a Bruins fan with what has happened in the last couple of years, I would actually probably prefer, just from a rooting interest, that the Rangers actually win it. Although I tend to not like to see the team that's as public as the Rangers tend to be win it, but whatever. NBA today, we have the Western Conference Finals with the T-Wolves trying to avoid a sweep. Now, we could see 2 sweeps in these series potentially. Will that happen? I don't know. T-Wolves at Dallas for Game 4. Dallas won again in Game 3. Close game, close finish. The T-Wolves are hanging in there, and Dallas put the game away, they were the better team in the last couple of minutes, played the better game in the last couple of minutes, and put that away. And Luka, he's a superstar, man, and Kyrie, they both are. They're both playing very, very good basketball in these playoffs. The Mavs playing like a complete team with those additions they made with Gafford and Washington, playing really well. Not necessarily the deepest team, but they're on the verge of taking this series here. Of course, no team has ever come back from down 3-0, but will the Mavs actually just put it away here? I did mention one stat a couple videos ago, a few days ago, I think, where Kyrie Irving, his team specifically, just across his entire career, in games where they're closeout games for his team so they can eliminate the other team in the playoffs, his teams are 14-0 in that situation, straight up at least. But, of course, with a line like this in this game, you're playing the team to basically just win the game. So I think that does matter somewhat. So Kyrie, in his career, his teams have never lost a game in a series and they've gotten to 3 wins. So that's a pretty crazy stat, really. They've always just put the series away once they've gotten to 3 wins. Of course, he's lost series, but in those series, they never got to the point where they'd won 3 games in the series. So in this game, we're getting a cheap price on the Mavs if you actually want to play the Mavs. They're down from 3 to 1.5. They have 66% of the tickets, so the public has kind of shifted over to the side of the Mavs after seeing how they've played in this series. And, of course, with the star power, they have 74% of the cash on them, though. So it looks like they have the cash discrepancy, even though the line has moved down on them. I guess my guess is the line has moved down on them to accommodate for the T-Wolves playing in complete desperation mode now, although I would argue they were in desperation mode in the previous game, having lost the first 2 games at home. I played the T-Wolves in the last game. This could be a dream crusher type of game, man. It could go either way. It's tough to gauge these 3-0 games. Like the T-Wolves went all out to try to stay alive in the last game. Now they're down 3-0. No team has ever come back from that. So are they just going to be a dead team here, or are they going to actually show up, like literally actually facing elimination this time and play a really good game? It's really hard to say. I think you're getting value on the Mavs side here, though, as far as the number is concerned, only having to lay 1.5 here, which the line should probably be closer to that opener of 3 there, I would say, on the Mavs. Maybe 2.5, 3 would be a more fair line. So I think if you're taking the T-Wolves, you're really not getting any value on the number there. And the cash discrepancy also is in the direction of the Mavs. So I actually do lean to the Mavs side slightly, but it's not a very strong lean. Total in this one is up from 210 to 210.5. 87% of the tickets on the over, but only 74% of the cash on the over. So even though the numbers ticked up, the ticket percentage is a lot higher than the cash percentage, and they're both kind of public on the over there. So I would probably only lean to the under in this one, expecting – I mean, these two teams play really good defense, and if it's a situation where the Mavs are going to win the game and it's like very clear and it's out of hand, as long as it doesn't get down into like a foul scenario, like a close late game scenario, I think the under would probably be the way to look on the total there. But again, I don't have a strong lean there. I don't really know for sure. And going over to baseball, I have one play here, and it's a full game total, which those have been my best plays this year, although they've kind of fallen off recently, but hopefully we get this one. This is going to be Pittsburgh and Detroit. One of these interleague games, man, and you know where I'm going because I tend to go on one particular side of totals regardless, but especially in interleague games where the hitters are not familiar with those opposing pitchers. And this is Pittsburgh-Detroit interleague game, so you know what I'm doing, man. It's under the 7 in this one. This one looks like it was 7 juice to the over, and now we're getting a straight 7 on this one. You can get 7 right at -110 right now. So you can get the normal 7 under 7 right now. I like this one. You have 86% of the tickets on the over and 64% of the cash on the over. So the over is attracting the public action here, which kind of surprises me because these teams aren't really teams that get a lot of draw, I wouldn't say, in the market. And they're not teams that are considered to really have good offenses, which they don't, which I think helps this under as well. But, of course, a lot less of the cash than the public is on the over here. And we see that the line has ticked down a little bit. So the market indicators are on the under here. So I like that, even though it is a very low total. I think there's a good reason for that. Both of these teams were off yesterday, so the bullpens are rested. So if they have to go to the bullpens, the entire relief staff should basically be available for both teams in this one. So that's good when you want to play an under. So that helps, the fact that these relief staffs are rested here. Relief staves. The relief staffs are rested here. But, of course, a lot of this has to do with the starting pitching matchup, man. I mean, what else would you want out of a starting pitching matchup here other than I will say that one of these guys just have stats that are not that terrific against the opponent, but I still think it's good enough to play it under here. Of course, you know, on the one side, Jared Jones is pitching, man. And, of course, this is his rookie season. You know that I love Jones. He's been really excellent so far this season. In his rookie season, very good for a rookie pitcher, man. Headed for potential rookie of the year honors, although now with Paul Skeens in the mix, I don't know. We'll see. But Jones has been really, really good so far. His ERA's gone up a little bit, but I mean, it was so low before. It can only really go in one direction. 3.05, still really good. A whip of 0.97, 68 strikeouts and 10 walks in 59 innings. Very, very, very good numbers. And, of course, Detroit has never seen him before, so he's got a high strikeout rate. He's not walking many people. His control has been really good. He's been pretty consistent throughout this entire season, man. He has not allowed more than 3 earned runs in any start this season. He's been going essentially 6 innings or more in almost every one of his starts. If you throw out his first start where he went 5 2/3, in his debut, only 2 other starts has he gone less than 6 innings. So he's been pretty good. And he's been facing some tough lineups too. So it's not like he's just been facing easy lineups. And this Detroit offense is probably one of the weaker offenses. So that all looks good on the Jones side. And then on the other side, Tariq Skubal. I mean, is there anything to really dislike about this guy aside from his stats against Pittsburgh that aren't really that great, but they're not horrible enough it's going to keep me off this. But his stats have been really good this year too. He's another young arm, although he's 27 now, but he's kind of, I would say he's entering his peak right now, man. 2.25 ERA this year, 0.85 whip. He's been excellent this year as well. Really, really good stuff. He has 72 strikeouts and 10 walks in 60 innings pitched, only 41 hits allowed. I mean, that is wild, man. And I don't mean wild in the fact that he's out of control and walking too many people. I mean, quite the opposite. I mean, those are just crazy good numbers. By the way, Jones has allowed 47 hits in 59 innings. So both of these pitchers have allowed way fewer than 1 hit per inning. They're not walking guys. I mean, this just looks really good overall for these guys. Skubal also has only not gone at least 6 innings in 2 of his starts, which is really good. He has allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in all but 2 of his starts, both of which he only allowed 4 earned runs. All of that looks very, very good as well. He's faced like a good mix of good and bad lineups as well. Versus Pittsburgh, this is the only thing to give you slight pause here. We have a decent sample size, although only 5 of their hitters have actually faced him before. They're 9 for 34 off in lifetime. 2 doubles, a home run, 7-2 strikeout walk ratio. That's not bad. It's still not terrible numbers, though. It's a 265 opponent batting average against the 5 Pirates hitters who have seen him before and a 717 OPS. So still not horrible numbers for Skubal there. It's kind of mediocre numbers that don't really put you in on one side or the other as far as like, is this pitcher good against these hitters? I would say it's a wash, but I would lean to Skubal in that one just because Skubal is a really good pitcher. So I don't even know when he actually faced Pittsburgh, faced those hitters last. So his stats have just been really, really good almost over his entire career, but especially over the last 3 seasons now, or two seasons plus into this season. So that's going to be the play, man. The under. We have basically 2 aces going in this one, which is why the total is that low. And with both relief staffs rested, with neither team having pitched yesterday and both offenses being relatively unfamiliar with these starting pitchers, this has a lot of the ingredients that you want for an under here, man. And the odds makers are lining it low for a reason here. They know what's up, and I'm just going to go in and take it, even though it seems a little bit dangerous taking the under in a game with a low total like this. But like I said, it's low for a reason. So that's what we're doing here. We're going under in the Pittsburgh Pirates Detroit Tigers game. And under 7, that's going to do it for me, man. Have a good one. Peace.